Vaccine. If there is one thing which can save us during the COVID pandemic, it is actually the home. The be all and end all of our existence during the COVID pandemic, home is no longer just a retreat from the outside world, but is also an office, a school, a place for entertainment, fitness, and so much more. But how have the demands and the aspirations for this safe haven moved during the COVID times? In short, what will a post COVID home be like? To answer this question, we have with us a prominent voice of the Indian real estate industry, Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani, who is founder chairperson of the Hiranandani Group as well as National President of Developers Apex Body Naredco. He is also the president of Industry Apex Body ASSOCHAM. So COVID times have reset the dynamics of every single industry. We are not trying to figure out what it has meant for the real estate industry and what a post-COVID home will be like. So, in the backdrop of the COVID pandemic, people have perhaps lived and experienced homes like never before. With work from home, school from home, fitness from home, movies from home has become a very important subject of people's lives. Do you think that they now feel the need for extra space, for more storage, for better kitchens? How do you, as somebody who's been associated with the industry and have been a very prominent member of it since many, many years, how do you read the demand and the changing needs of the people post-COVID? Over to you, Mr. Hiranandani.
Thank you, Namrata. I do believe that you have assessed the situation very correctly. The COVID pattern has really brought about the thought process of a work to home, but it's going to be something which is going to be a paradigm changer for the future of working positions of each and every one of us. I know CEOs of companies who say they are more happy on working from home, and some of them are even staying at the resort places and very fully operational for the purposes of working. There are others in the middle level management where they are not required to come to the offices every day and they are able to efficiently work from their home. And then there are junior staff people, some of them have found themselves redundant under the situation. And really there's going to be an issue as to how many of them are really going to get their jobs back in the way it is. Efficiency is the order of the day. And all the companies and corporates are looking about how can we actually run our post-COVID story in a more efficient manner. We've even heard the stories of companies saying that 5 years from today, we'll only have 25% of our staff working from offices and the rest of them will work from home. And these are not small companies. We are talking about the large IT companies in the country talking in that direction. So work from home has become critical and in terms essential, and for many people a lifestyle change completely that has happened. So what are the repercussions of this? One, a large number of people had more than one member of the family working from home. Suddenly it's claustrophobic, not because the home is small, but you can't have two people sitting at the home together and being able to work from home, having the computer and the iPads and the laptops and the phones and other things ringing and singing at the same time. And especially if you have two children who are also studying from home, my God, what a chaotic situation that one has to balance life with. So the home has become extremely an important place. People want to upgrade their homes. They want to see that the quality of life is better. They need more space. Somebody said, oh, I have a 2-bedroom apartment. I at least need a 2.5 bedroom. The next one doesn't even have to have a toilet, but we do need another room to be required. Somebody else said, I never thought that I would ever look for a bigger space. Never. It wasn't even in my mind whatsoever. Today, I realize it's essential. I have to go to a bigger house. I must have a balcony. I must have other things to weather myself from. And there is a what it is. And the last part, oh, I'm not happy in that kind of complex that I'm living. They're not even safety conscious. They're not even concerned about the problems of being sanitized and other things. They don't even look after the entire servants who walk in and walk out, in terms of when the delivery boys who really come right up to the lifts and other things. What a chaotic society that I live with. So they want to move to some other place where there is an upgrade of the quality of life and the availability of facilities which are there. So we do see even the mind has changed. So
Right.
obviously, the demand position of people working from home is definitely affecting a change in the mindset, and subject to the purse strings being available and the capabilities of the persons who are there to be able to do it, are certainly looking at better quality homes, safer homes, and also the fact that they would like to upgrade themselves.
Okay. So this is a very overarching, view, macro view of how the mindset of people is changing, and you encapsulated it so very well. Moving on to the specifics of the home, and let's say at the level of design, what are the changes that you as an industry may have begun to contemplate? Now, we are not saying that the changes will surface overnight and tomorrow there will be a changed sort of a format for a home. But for instance, I heard from an architect that it will no longer be about a BHK, bedroom, hall, kitchen, that it will just be a fluid, multifunctional space, maybe have collapsible partition walls, roofs, so that residents can combine spaces, enclose them. How do you overall see that? How do you see the design of the homes transforming in the post-COVID era?
Very good question. And the architects and the interior decorators are already on job to do whatever it is. The furnitures are going to be very different in the new things that are happening. The dining tables are turning into office tables during the day. The bedroom, the bed is getting rolled up into the wall and being part of the wall furniture rather than occupying floor space. The rooms also are having tables which can actually move out and move in order to provide working spaces for people, whether it is children or it is the adults. All of them are having and using entire thing into the small. A small earlier cubby space which looked like a storeroom and was redundant is now being emptied out in order to make a small room where the children can possibly interact if they have to study from home. All these changes architecturally, interior wise, is definitely taking place, and the type of furniture that is now going to be made available for the future of housing in these kind of changes that are taking place is going to be very different than what existed in the pre-COVID days. And more so in the idea that we have to be able to stay at home, and also the entire kitchen space is going to look very different than what it used to be before. Probably the dining table moves into the kitchen too, and so that you have one extra table that one can use when it is not actually being used as a dining table. So all these small factors appear to be very small, but they are actually design changes which are going to be essential ingredients for the future of design of interiors in all houses. It's not necessarily in small houses that it's happening. It's happening even in the larger houses, and people using it as multifunctional homes. So it's like home and office together. So what's the situation? It's quite different than what it used to be before. Yes, sir. But of course, your internet has to be much more powerful. You have to have all the sanitizing equipment more available than before. And people who come into the house are not as welcome as they used to be before. And hopefully, COVID disappears, so that part of the function at least will come back.
Okay. So, the yearning for outdoors, the yearning for outside spaces, I wanted to dwell on that aspect as well. That, a certain amount of claustrophobia may have set in during the lockdown by the state first, and let's say the self-imposed lockdown later, the self-imposed confinement. So people have been hungry for open, well-ventilated spaces, for sunlight, for air. So our balconies, terraces, verandas, open spaces gain a sort of a preeminence over the others.
Absolutely. I mean, you've hit the nail on the head. Everybody wants some open air, open spaces, and availability. And hence, those project places, which have a lot of common facilities where people can go down to walk, which can actually see that the situation is over there, keeping safe distances and physical separation of people. Lots of societies are very happy because they have a lot of common facility areas which are used with all of these societies to do it. Yes, terraces have suddenly become important. Balconies, of course, are essential. And all these things were never thought of before. People never use their terraces. And my God, they were not looked after. And they allowed all the utility functions to misuse it and put pipes wherever they wanted. All of a sudden, terraces are being beautified and being provided in such a way that people can go for walks over there, people can do their yoga over there, and all these activities are now taking place in the societies. And this is the difference between ordinary society and a society which provides for all these functions. So yes, lots of changes.
Uh, Also about the safety, health, hygiene. Are these seem to be, the topmost priority for every citizen in the country, every global citizen as well. Do you see technology becoming really important for creating those contactless solutions in all the common areas such as lobbies, parking, lifts, etc.? As a developer, do you think you're going to incorporate and really bank on technological solutions to make life simpler, more efficient? Yeah.
Technology is very, very, very important. Similar to the technology we are now presently using to interact with each other. This becomes a common factor to do it. All the things are going to be driven by technology, whether it is contactless entries into offices, contactless entries into buildings, being able to swipe cards, which are actually can be just touchless cards that can really operate the thing, lift buttons, which can actually in the future work in a contactless sort of way. All these things are going to become essential part of the new building designs that are going to come. But effectively, the changes may not happen in the old buildings and societies, but even they are upgrading. So the changes are also taking place in terms of technology of things that are there. I've been to societies where they want you to be properly having all the safety positions taken. Are you entering with your mask? Are you using whatever is necessary to do to take care of sanitary positions that you have? And of course, not to see any gathering of people in these places and areas has become important. Societies sometimes go overboard. And that is where there is another problem. I've seen where old people are living in the societies, they are not allowing the servants to come in, even after doing the testing of the servants. And I think that's an overkill. So sometimes you do find that the reality of the ground is not seen by them, and we really need to improve that situation wherein the elderly people, people who are otherwise handicapped, looking after the people and providing medical assistance to people during COVID time, which may be not due to COVID, it could be for anything else. And so we may need the doctor, we may need the ambulance, we need the connectivity, and all these factors need to be put in. The new societies now provide for all these facilities, which never was existing before. So at the higher end, the societies are now becoming safety conscious, taking care of sanitation, looking after the health and people of people. But I strongly recommend that they should not go for an overkill, which is sometimes happening to the detriment of the use by society, especially by people of the elderly and the less privileged.
So very well analyzed. So my last question to you is about home ownership versus home renting. I know you have always batted for home renting, and rightly so, because that is something most sustainable format for people to invest in, and it's a great thing to really talk about. But finally, Will the current situation push home ownership as living in an own home is much more safe and secure rather than the uncertainty faced in a rented accommodation? Do you think
So,
COVID will be
yeah,
de facto a trigger for home buying versus home renting?
first of all, I do believe that everyone in India who has some level of income must go and buy a house. It's the best social security that you can possibly have in your life and career. So, whether you're young, middle aged, or old, a strong recommendation that you must, I repeat, must go in for buying a house. Take necessary benefits of the lower rate of interest today. Take the benefit for tax deduction, which is available for interest and other things for buying the house. And all these become an important factor in terms of doing what is necessary in order to get the benefits of buying a house. On the other hand, younger people don't have necessarily the initial stages to buy a house. And obviously, renting a house does make sense for them. Second, when they get transferred to different places, today you're located in Mumbai, tomorrow you may be in Bangalore, third day you could be in Chennai, your job may require you to travel. Obviously, you can't buy a house in every place that you're going for, and hence the rental incomes are going to do. Every country of the world has at least 50% of the people living in rental housing. I think a time has come where rental housing is going to play a much more important role in the future. So while the Prime Minister announces housing for all in terms of a policy that he wants to provide shelter to all and affordable shelter that too, we do have to look at rental housing, and that is the new policy that is being pushed both by the Housing Ministry and the Prime Minister himself. So I think there's going to be a huge movement towards rental housing, as you have correctly said. And I think that's going to be a way forward as far as we are concerned.
Sir, thank you very much for your valuable time and inputs. I think it's, as always, a great pleasure to speak to the
I
very
have only one
articulate.
thing, I
Yeah,
want to add one thing more.
yeah, sure, sir.
The one thing I wanted to add was the fact that many people are asking that when you are doing a work from home, what's going to be the position of the demand for offices? Because as differentiated from demand for homes, which are going to expand, obviously, and I'm happy about that. What's going to be the commercial demand? And my view personally is slightly different than the rest of the people. I do believe that if the GDP of the country comes back to normal, so if it goes back to 5% plus instead of the 10% minus that we are seeing today in for this year, I think your demand for commercial will come back. So it's only a matter of time before this happens. So whether it is a work from home thing which will happen, at the end of the day, if the economy of India has to grow, the demand for commercial place will grow. And if the economy of the world is growing and India becomes a center point in terms of services sector, which it is doing, and the IT sector, which it is, I still do believe that the demand for commercial spaces, IT spaces will continue to grow in the next couple of years. But yes, there will be a setback till our GDP growth, which is presently 10% negative, moves towards a positive rate of growth, which I do believe will happen by April to June of 2021. So this is a personal view of mine, and not everybody concurs with my view on that. But this is my belief that how the commercial sector will also come back to normal or even increase. But yes, there has been a setback in this year.
Quite a few takeaways from this discussion with Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani. He makes a point about bigger, better homes finding more takers in the post COVID era, much more focus on hygiene, safety, security, and technology. Preferences perhaps veering towards gated communities that offer a lifestyle, the promise of a good life and good living. Home continues to be in focus not just during COVID, but even will have a very important place in people's lives in the post COVID era.